Hello to our just a few weeks left. We are finishing up World War I this week and getting into World War II. Monday, you've got some 4Cs notes that are due on the end of World War I section in the textbook is called End of the War. And then on Tuesday, we're going to move into Chapter 26, which is World War II. So Tuesday, Paths to War, that's kind of the beginnings of the war, what leads up to it. At the end of World War I, that war is ended with the Treaty of Versailles, which the U.S. actually never signs. And then the League of Nations was supposed to be a peacekeeping organization, keep checks on nations that would abuse power. That the League of Nations was unsuccessful as well. The United States never entered it. We talked about that in 4L, and I often bring that up. Our chat this week is going to be on a couple of excerpts from speeches from Woodrow Wilson. I want you particularly to pay attention to the pieces of the 14 points that are in that handout. Not all of them are. Next year in U.S. history, we'll look at the full text of his 14-point speech. But this one that I gave to you just has certain numbers of the 14 points. But the 14th point is the most important one because that is the one that set up the League of Nations. And what we're going to talk about is, was what Wilson was talking about doing, was it realistic? Was it too idealistic? What principles is he arguing for? Why is it that the American president gets to decide what happens to all these European nations? Keep in mind, America didn't enter that war until 1917. And here's Wilson in the beginning of 1918, January 1918, putting out these points, and this is how we're going to handle the war once the Allied powers are victorious. And so why is it that America gets to have a say in that when this was, for 3 years prior, a European war, or a war that did not involve, at least directly, America? Anyway, that's our chat. And then for back to Chapter 26, there's a section in the text, Section 2, called Course of World War II, and I have that split up into two sections. And so in World War II, you have the European theater, you have the African theater, you have the Pacific theater. Once Pearl Harbor happens in December of 41, the Americans fight in the Pacific theater, and then they decide that they're going to invade North Africa and then go up into Europe through Italy. And then D-Day, the invasion of Western Europe, isn't launched until June of 44. And so you'll read about the processes and the time periods that played out and some specific battles and what exactly was going on in that war. And the war ends in Europe in May of 45. May 8th is VE Day, Victory in Europe Day, with the surrender of Nazi Germany. And then actually in September with the surrender of the Japanese after the atomic bombs are dropped at Hiroshima and Nagasaki, and that's in August of 45. So that's where we're going this week. The following week, we'll be left with a couple of last parts of World War II, specifically talking about the Holocaust and then kind of the aftermath of the war. Keep working on your research papers. Those are due on the 29th. So we are finishing World War II and turning in the research papers kind of all at the same time. There's no discussion board this week because, again, I want you to focus on your papers. And, again, just reach out to me with problems that you're having, either via email or via Teams, and I'll get my responses to you as quick as I can. I hope you guys have a great week, and we'll talk to you soon. Take care.